That day, after showering, I returned to my bedroom and saw Danan playing computer games. So I lay down on the soft Simmons mattress behind him, calling his name repeatedly.
Little pig, little pig, little pig, bad pig.
Danan then put down his computer, pretending to be a vicious wolf, and pounced on me, scratching me until I rolled around. Just then, the bedroom door opened, and I saw Danan standing in the doorway. Seeing me and Danan playing on the bed, he angrily turned and left, startled. Suddenly, he grinned at me, then vanished in a wisp of smoke. With a scream, I woke up. It was just a dream. I got up and drew back the curtains. The clock showed 3 in the afternoon. I poured myself a glass of hot water, trying to calm my lingering fear, thinking about this ominous dream. I thought of Danan. He was away on a business trip. Was he all right? His phone was stolen, and I couldn't contact him. Why didn't he even call home? I thought, Danan, my father left me a large inheritance long ago, and now it is naturally yours. You don't need to work so hard, and you don't need to be burdened by work on our wedding day. Danan, you must know, you are now my only family. Just then, the phone rang. It wasn't Danan, but his stepmother. Her voice was very anxious. She said, Danan, his father had just passed away, and the funeral was the next morning. Danan was thousands of miles away and unreachable, so he obviously couldn't make it. I, his newlywed wife, had to attend the funeral in his place. So, after setting a voicemail, I boarded a bus to Danan's hometown. It was a very, very small town. If it weren't for Danan, I probably would never have known about such a place, because Danan and I had a whirlwind marriage, and hadn't even had a ceremony. This was my first time visiting my in-laws. I never expected it to be for a funeral. I couldn't help but feel sorry for Danan. I thought he was as lonely as I was. When he came back, I should give him more tenderness to make up for his loneliness. Or rather, we should comfort each other. When I arrived, it was already very late. My phone showed 8:30. Danan's family lived in a very old courtyard. The wooden floors creaked underfoot, giving off an eerie feeling. The grandmother was an elderly woman with graying hair. Life seemed to have drained her of her vitality. Her wrinkled skin clung loosely to her bones, dark and grimy. Her daughter, however, was beautiful. Around 23 or 24 years old. She had a lovely name, Daxiang, supposedly given to Danan after her mother remarried. Upon entering the living room, I saw my father-in-law, his body lying in a coffin, placed to one side. The living room was dark, only illuminated by countless candles. In the flickering candlelight, my father-in-law, his body seemed to writhe in agony against the wall. I couldn't help but gasp, goosebumps rising on my arms. My grandmother explained that this was the local custom. The deceased couldn't be exposed to electric lights, or their soul would scatter. Furthermore, before the funeral procession, the body had to be placed in the main hall as a sign of respect. I was starving, so the mother and daughter served me the food they had prepared. The mother-in-law enthusiastically recommended a milky, white soup in a porcelain bowl, saying it was a local custom and could ward off evil spirits. Unable to refuse their hospitality, I ladled some out and drank it, only to find it sour and even slightly foul. Smelling, I tried hard not to think about the taste of the soup, eating and talking to them, wondering if they had accepted me. Unexpectedly, I noticed that Dachiang's way of picking up food was peculiar. She always picked up food from the outside of the bowl first, then moved to the inside, and she did the same with food in her own bowl. I remembered this was Danan's habit, and I hadn't expected his half-sister to have the same habit. Even stranger, I noticed that the mother and daughter seemed to have nothing to say to each other. They didn't exchange a single word during the entire dinner. After dinner, without washing up, I went to Danan's former room. Lying in bed, I smelled not the familiar scent of sunshine from the blankets, but a stench of decay. But in Danan's description, his room faced the balcony, and lying in bed, the room was filled with the lingering smell of sunshine. That is why, when we bought the house, he insisted on buying a sunny one with a large window. Perhaps the house was too damp, coupled with Danan's frequent absences. The house had indeed been cleaned regularly, hence the strange smell. Or perhaps, in some corner, a dead rat was rotting, perhaps due to the exhaustion of the journey, coupled with the nightmare that disturbed my midday nap. My sleep quality wasn't very good, so I quickly drifted off to sleep. The dream connected with the midday dream. I watched Danan disappear, realizing that Danan must have misunderstood and was angry, which was why he left. So I chased after him. I caught up with Danan downstairs. I wanted to explain something to him, but he wouldn't listen and turned away. I still wanted to chase after him, but then I heard someone call my name from behind. I turned around and saw it was Danan. I happily ran over and grabbed his hand, but it felt wrinkled. Clearly my mother-in-law's hand. Then looking up, I saw my father-in-law's face. Startled, I quickly backed away. But my father-in-law grabbed my hand and said,
"Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here!"
I woke up again. I found a faint light in the room, probably from the candlelight in the living room. I needed to use the restroom, so I pushed open the door and went out. But in the hallway, I saw my mother-in-law still awake, pacing between the living room and kitchen. Curious, I looked closer and was shocked to see her taking a knife and cutting into my father-in-law's body in the living room. She then removed what looked like bones and placed them in a porcelain bowl. The very bowl from which the sour soup had been served at dinner. Remembering that I had drunk 2 bowls of it at her urging that evening, I felt a wave of nausea and almost vomited. My mother-in-law seemed to hear me. I saw her slowly turn around, staring directly in my direction, and grin. I quickly hid in my room, too terrified to breathe. I locked the door and burrowed under the covers. Sure enough, I heard my mother-in-law's footsteps outside, the sound growing louder, clearly heading towards my room. I trembled all over, too afraid to peek out. The footsteps stopped abruptly at my door. After about 10 minutes, or even longer, there was no further sound. I quietly lifted the corner of the blanket and looked towards the door. I saw my mother-in-law, perched high in the window above the door, watching me. She had clearly seen me and giggled. My heart tightened, and I fainted. When I awoke, the bedroom light was on, and Dachiang was sitting anxiously beside my bed. Seeing I was awake, she touched my forehead and said,
"Sister-in-law, you still have a fever. Drink some soup to cool down."
I nodded. At that moment, my mother-in-law came in. I saw her carrying the porcelain basin, backing away fearfully. I was unsure if what I had just seen was real or a dream. Daxiang gently ladled the soup into a small bowl, blew on it, and fed me spoonful by spoonful. I covered my mouth, trying to hide, secretly hoping to find a suitable time to tell her what I had just seen and heard. Unexpectedly, my mother-in-law said.
What? Don't you like the taste? I thought, since you enjoy watching me cook soup so much, you'll naturally like the taste.
I vomited it all over Dachiang. I decided to escape this strange place. After they went back to their room, I immediately grabbed my small bag and started feeling my way out. As I approached the living room, I noticed something strange about the candlelight, so I moved cautiously. When I got downstairs, I found my father-in-law sitting upright on the coffin. I was so frightened that my knees buckled and I collapsed to the ground. But my strong will to escape prevented me from fainting again. Although I was weak and powerless, I crawled out of the living room door. Then, with all my strength, stood up and ran into the town streets. But it was early morning, and the town streets were deserted. The whole world was left with only the pale moonlight and me running wildly through the night. Just then, a van drove up behind me. Like grasping at a straw, I waved it down. At the driver's signal, I got into the car. Before I could even catch my breath, I saw Da Qiang turn around in the driver's seat and ask,
Sister-in-law, why did you run out in the middle of the night? I was so worried.
I immediately froze, wondering if Da Qiang and her mother, or if she didn't know anything. Before I could answer myself, Da Qiang spoke.
Sister-in-law, my brother's gone. You're my only family now. You won't skip the funeral, will you?
I stammered.
I need to go back, Auntie. Auntie, she should be able to help you with some things, right?
Who is Auntie?
It is your mother.
Da Qiang looked at me strangely.
What do you mean?
I stared straight at her, thinking I had no idea what she meant. After a long pause, she said,
Didn't you see father and mother's bodies laid out together in the living room as soon as you came in? Why are you saying such things now?
I gasped softly. My mind was a complete mess.
I even saw you talking to mother's body. I was a little strange then. Are you delirious with fever?
I was speechless. I felt so cold all over. Da Qiang then said,
Let's go back. Get some sleep. I'll get you some fever reducer.
I opened the car door and ran out, calling out in terror. Then I saw the lights in the town come on one by one, more and more brightly lit. In a quiet greenhouse, I told people about my experience, I said.
Seriously, I really saw a ghost. My mother-in-law, she really is a ghost.
The feeling was like that of Xianglin's wife. But I could tell no one believed me, or they'd reply, Really? I'll catch the ghost for you. I'm a Taoist immortal from Zhongnan Mountain. My listeners, without exception, were all wearing hospital gowns or white coats. They'd sent me to a mental hospital. For about 6 months, I kept thinking, Danan, he is gone. Is he worried? I kept begging the doctors, saying I wanted to call my husband. But when I finally got the chance, the phone always went unanswered. They brought in a psychologist for me. And finally, someone was willing to listen to my whole ordeal. I told him,
My husband went on a business trip. His phone was stolen and I couldn't contact him. Then, my mother-in-law called, saying my father-in-law had passed away, and the funeral was the next day, asking my husband and me to go.
The psychologist listened carefully to my description, then quietly said to me,
Can I tell you what happened?
The facts. I was puzzled, so I listened quietly. The psychologist said,
It is true your husband went on a business trip. And it is true your future father-in-law passed away. However, your husband's stepmother is still alive and warmly welcomed you when you visited the town. But because you overdosed on sleeping pills, you suffered a mental breakdown and were brought here by your husband's parents.
Mental breakdown? How could I be mentally broken?
I'm sorry, but that is exactly what happened. The night before you were hospitalized, you caused a huge scene in the town, waking up everyone on the street. The townspeople can all testify to that. And afterwards, you told everyone you met that you'd encountered a ghost, and that your future mother-in-law was a ghost.
I listened coldly, my heart sinking again. No one believed me. I asked calmly,
Then, what about my husband? He knows I'm here. Why hasn't he come to see me?
Somewhat hesitantly, they handed me a newspaper. It read, "Rich wife hospitalized due to madness. Amorous husband finds new love." Next to it was a wedding photo of Danan and Dachiang. Behind them was my mother-in-law. My head started spinning again. The psychologist went out. Through the door, I heard my attending physician ask him,
Isn't it too cruel to use facts to stimulate her like this?
Sai, this is the only way.
I flung my hand, smashing the water bottle at my feet, picked up the scalding hot shards, and slashed at the artery in my wrist. I was so stupid. How could I possibly commit suicide in a hospital? But I don't regret it, because I finally saw Danan again. When I woke up, unexpectedly, Danan was sitting by my bedside. All my grievances turned into tears of grief and anger, and I threw myself into Danan's arms. I had actually forgotten that he had betrayed me. Danan dismissed the nurses and said to me,
Honey, I know you're not crazy. I know. I called you, and you left a message saying your father had passed away, so I immediately took leave and rushed back to the small town. But it was too late. You had already been brought here. I visited you once while you were unconscious, and the doctor said you had overdosed on sleeping pills. Honey, how could I believe that? You never take sleeping pills, even when you have a cold. You ask me to make you ginger soup. You always tell me that all medicine has side effects. How could you have overdosed on sleeping pills when I was only away on a business trip for 3 to 5 days? But the forensic report I received said there was a large amount of sleeping pill residue in your stomach. I think there must be a reason for this.
There were traces of sleeping pills in my stomach. I started to wonder. I tried hard to recall every detail of that night, and suddenly, that bowl of sour and horrible soup reappeared in my mind.
宝贝儿，我已经查得差不多了。我之所以和达强结婚，正是想要救你。我不来看你，也是怕他们起疑。现在我初步推测，他们是为了使父亲的遗产不致旁落，或者因为达强从小对我畸形的爱恋。宝贝儿，相信我，我是真的爱你。我相信你没有疯，总有一天我会救你离开这里。这一切不过是一场骗局，关于财产或者爱情的骗局。
I hugged Danan tightly, moved. At that moment, he took out a divorce agreement. He said,
I'm sorry, baby. Dachiang kept pressuring me to marry her and forced me to take wedding photos. We have to get a divorce first. Once I find out everything, I will bring them to justice and then marry my real bride again.
Danan left, and I remained alone in this lonely corner. But I became strong. I stopped making pointless explanations or confiding in people. Shh. I kept myself healthy and alive. Because I was waiting. I was waiting for Danan to reveal the truth to the world. And then he would come to take me and be the person who would accompany him for life. 10 years have passed in the blink of an eye, and I am still waiting. However, the so-called truth has become increasingly blurred in my memory. Truth and falsehood are mixed together, making me more and more confused. I vaguely remember Danan saying, "This is a scam about property or love." But one day, 10 years later, I suddenly began to wonder, in this whole scam, who exactly deceived me?